Okay, so good morning. I'm gonna go ahead and call the June 5th Design Council meeting. We're short a quorum today. But the one item that we have on the East Patrol Station is not something that's gonna require a today. It's more informational. So we're gonna go ahead and we can proceed to that. We're gonna skip the minutes since we don't do minutes. Roll into the East Patrol Station. Come on up to the podium. Yourselves and coming today.
Hello, my name is Amber McCrary. I am interior person for the city of Wichita.
And I'm Scott Smith. We're both with It Says. This has been a project that's been out there for quite a few years. I see Bruce Goodwin back there. I know our contractors on the site doing some early grading, so this project's underway finally. And we really we haven't really run the exterior colors and choices. We ran them by the captains for the East Patrol and West Patrol. We've gone over a few captains and a few chiefs, so felt we needed to bring this to you guys to make sure the exterior image of this building is acceptable choice. We brought the interiors. Just these have already been selected by the our meetings throughout the past several years.
Well, if you would
Yeah.
you, for their sake, start with the location where this.
Location is Lincoln, just west of the old Southeast High School, which is now the 259 administration offices. So it's the fields behind there, the tennis courts is south of our site. It's probably old ball diamonds or open land. So it's on East Lincoln.
And run through these briefly. We have a couple of different security ceiling options, and keeping it light for the open ceiling. Various grays and neutral colors, incorporating some blues with stained concrete and carpet. We also have some residence floors for the locker room. It'll just hold up a lot better over time. And this is what you can expect from just the typical casework throughout solid surface countertops, and epoxy countertops for that and improved durability. And wood features, the plastic laminate, that is what you'll see. Some wall tiles, stone veneer wall tiles, which this is what you can expect to see. It just will match with the exterior. Minute, and for some wall tiles, the plan is to just pull a lot of the brighter colors through the furniture selections that we make, keeping the building pretty simple, and then incorporating some of those blues, pink colors in the walls. You can really see the base.
The blue we'll talk about a few times in this. Originally, they said, let's use the Wichita blue. So we started out taking a sample off the Wichita black. It's pretty royal, pretty bright. You see it? I heard it up here. We got some version on the outside. We think we may have toned it down because we had another blue the city provided. We'll talk about it. We just want to bring in the idea of the blue is coming from the city.
Now we'll just start with exterior elevations.
So in this project, we had to do quite a bit of value engineering. Cut out some square footage, took off some higher end materials. Really wasn't dressing up because of the price, because of COVID and increased pricing, a lot of it, get it back to the project. The majority of what you're seeing on the exterior is a brick plains coat. Keep this above that stone on the front, and really that's what we've got down. We had some metal panels, things like that. So we're trying to emulate simulate that with these colors. This is kind of the presentation we've been showing all along, kind of the tans and browns. Okay, I'll walk up here. You can hear me. We had an option where actually we've got a brick that would be the same color here on these two portions. We've got both of those brick options, but this is what we're kind of our tan scheme. And then the portions like on the squad room, this and up there is a nice polished stone. Then, like I said, we've got bricks. This blue is the darker blue we came up with, the city blue that's not that. This looks a little blue, but kind of went to a more gray version of this one. And then just more of that blue that we've got on that front box area and the tower. All of that is gray. Really is more gray than. Then we've got a whiter colored gray. And we went with another one, we call it the red version. In that neighborhood, school is kind of an old 50s darker red. The housing in that area is a bright 50s red. Then there's housing that's painted gray. So if we wanted to try to get into the neighborhood a little more, it is an older neighborhood. We just wanted to get it out. We had another one of this version with the light.
The same color as that paint.
We brought a few hard samples of bricks we were selecting. On the color scheme, input, console, which is.
It'll be a little tricky as we go through this. So it's going to be a education process. This was a general. This is a non-action item. I think they're reading today early, so we can have input if we want, specifically on the exterior. Our role is going to be more to look at aesthetic improvements as you go forward, site plans, and things we can do aesthetically, not only to the exterior of the building, but maybe something inside. Interior.
Well, we've got one more component I didn't hit. We also have an art.
Yes.
We're not quite ready to present that.
That's the part that have.
But I will point out that through the discussions in the building, there is just a vestibule that's public space. So it's not a great opportunity for public art. We're almost thinking this art needs to be outside. So that's where we're going with that. We've got a list of artists or art consultants that I took down these two guys' names as well. We're going to try to get that together with Brad Doden in our office. He's the one to spearhead that. We'll be back with.
So as chair of this, one of the things I try to do a lot is I don't want design council members designing a project. Need to review and approve or make recommendations. So as we go through this, you might tell us, help us think just so that we're consistent. This is our first choice, this is our second, this is our third, and we can comment on whether we like your selection of 1, 2, 3, but so that we don't start dining for others, which is important. So as you go back through those, and you may have shown them in order, but if you didn't, you might just tell us.
We showed this one first. This is the look at the map for a couple of years that we presented to the police captains. The only thing is one of the captains at one meeting said, I'm not crazy about beiges. So that's why we started looking at other colors, but we haven't gone back to him for this. We decided to come here. This is the original. As I said, I think our rendering, we had two different renderings. My preference is this brick down here. That's the only difference on that rendering. That's the proposed choice.
Design council members?
On your third option with the brick, can you, kind of help me understand where the brick? The brick is only at the Wayne's County, and you're using a brick pattern. This,
It says that, but we can talk about, we may not do it. We just do the ephes color. Just saves, instead of doing the full. It is possible, but last I knew, the pattern of the ephes brick is roughly the same price as brick. So I had mentioned that to Amber, and I think she wants to see what it looks like. Flat ephes with some scoring, but not to the extent.
That color that I chose, that.
give a preference. Or would you give a preference?
You can, yeah, you can give a,
I'm not a big fan of Wichita beige. I think we're past that. Hopefully we're past that.
The comment we got for one.
I'll tell you, the third one, if it was all brick all the way up, I would go with that, but since we're not,
You're okay with like blues and the grays not being brick?
I'll tell you, I'm probably in the camp of two. We're taking.
That's why we went this way, because most of the police station, I think the one out west would be the next one. It's kind of a beige. The one replacing is beige, because originally the color scheme that our office put together said match the brick of the fire station next door. And that's kind of, I think, where those colors came from, was we were trying to match that fire station. Not next to the fire station anymore. That's why I don't need it up for options.
anybody else comments?
Well, I will add, point taken about you guys, like, you versus pre. I will say this project has been a little bit unique in that the time frame that it's taken, because originally this was to go in Cypress Park. That didn't work, got moved, everything else. We've literally gone through 4 police chiefs, I think 7 captains and 1 lieutenant, as far as being the lead on the project. So the consistency in what we had in mind for the building to look like has changed dramatically, and the consistency just hasn't been available. And so to GLMB's credit, I think they're, number one, just trying to make you guys aware that the project is actually underway for a change. But number two, if you do have any insights about how it looks in general, we kind of value that even on an earlier basis because of the lack of interior strong preferences otherwise. Also, given the fact that there's $375,000 for art, which is a pretty sizable amount coming from the art fund, we just wanted to give you an update too as to where that process was and kind of what we're thinking the art may incorporate going forward, but not obviously to any detail. And if there were some input on what we might be looking for, this is the first brand new police station in a long time. So if the design council does have any ideas on that front, I think that's why we're kind of getting in front of you now. So it is a little bit different technology.
No, and I appreciate you guys coming. We did the same thing on the water treatment plant where they brought in different colors and go, which one do you want?
I understand. We could, he expressed it perfectly. We've had a lot of change in.
Understand.
I think we said we put number 1 first because that's where we started. To be honest, I like the grays as well. We just need to make selection because the contractor has already bombarded some submittals and all their masons, and people are saying, what color, what color? The other thing is I will consistently for all the storefront and everything, clear it. So it's going to be kind of a silver, get away from bronze and dark frame. So that will be consistent. It's just really identifying actual colors, whether we're grays or tan.
Armando?
I just have a question regarding the art. If you can fill us in on what kind of conversations you guys are having as far as where the art could go, what you're thinking.
Okay.
Kind of where you're
One, we've got a canopy that goes across the whole thing. Right Right now, we don't have signage accounted for. It says Wichita East Patrol on there, but it's not identified in the document. There could be something on that canopy. We've looked at this blue wall, which is really their break room, the one up the top, of maybe something on the wall. And then we have a kind of a courtyard entrance area, maybe sculpture or something. Yeah, those are the things we're thinking on this front side. But those are just our preliminary. And we're gonna want some other input from artists like yourself. But it's gonna, we really feel it needs to be outside so the public can appreciate it.
I guess just looking at the other police stations that have art, just considering art integration, how you can integrate some art elements on the structure itself.
We talked about that during the design, but we were so hard to try to, but we can work that in if we get in on this.
Something that is in another projects where you can consider, instead of breaking some areas, that might be some artistic decorative element, metal, tile, or anything like that. So that it's not necessarily a
Piece of just
right, or something that is integrated. I don't know how far along you are in the design. Maybe it's late for that. But maybe there's room to think about how some areas could integrate some of the art elements on the
And
building.
again, I'm not picking on just that blue wall, but that was the thought back when we started that discussion, that we could get you guys the art involved in.
Just thinking besides a mural, right? What are some elements that could really be a part of the building that can be there for a long time with little maintenance?
I think it's a good, great idea. I'll get with back Brad and we get this thing moving. We've had it in front of us, but we worked so hard trying to get the building approved because I know the police department, the city really want the police station, and not to minimize the art part of it, but now we're ready to really focus on the art now.
Anything else? Steve, any comments?
No, I think I agree with these two guys. I mean, I like the grading option, but, and then also to Armando's point, I think that's one of those things where you guys are early enough to where you guys can think through the art, get it integrated and not just have something where put a couple of screws in the wall and hang it up, something like that. So good time.
I'm gonna finish with the fourth gray color. So I agree with what Jeff said. My side.
All right, and just throwing it out there where everybody's okay with this darker blue. It is a Wichita blue we were provided. It's just not that royal blue, which I think allowed for this neighborhood. That's okay. On the outside of the building with
Is it a thought to match the same blue that's going on the treatment plant for the water treatment and everything? Cause I think there's blue on that guy too, isn't there?
But I saw it last weekend when I drove by.
Just a question. I don't know, the consistency and all
I
that.
see them at the same time, so we're not gonna go with that if you guys are okay with that.
Good.
And that's across from the zoo. It's supposed to be playful, colorful.
Sure.
But yeah, we talked about the artwork at the zoo, some of those things, fence and different things. So that's, we will work with our contractor because they've been involved through this whole process as well. Find some avenues for art. That's the direction the artist that is chosen.
Anything, it's not an official vote. Anything you want to throw into this conversation?
Just a question for budget clarification to my public works friends. Is the 375 the 24 CIP or is this a previous project?
375 was allocated in the budget expansion that got initiated, I want to say in late 22.
So the 375 that's in the 2024 budget currently? Is that-
It's already in the current project budget. Yeah, it was integrated into what was to be 10 million.
An additional police station then coming in 2024?
Yes.
Would it hit this budget? So we've got
The
two.
lift station started getting initiated this year, and then the bulk of it is next year.
Okay, so we have two that will potentially have our components underway in the same calendar year. Is that accurate?
Yes, there could be, yes.
So for the
One
design,
budget's 22, one budget's 24. You have any questions for us? Or did we give you the?
Kind of voice this out, play it out and get a little feedback. I appreciate it. This is exactly what we needed. We understand you're not helping us design it. We also don't want to
Good.
hit a foul ball with the exterior of the building after all the hard work that has gone into this project.
We greatly appreciate you coming earlier than at the end, so thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you all very much.
All right. And Rise, do we have any Esme or Rise? We do.
I have a few updates, in the public art sphere. The Brewer Community Center RFQ qualifications are due by 4 p.m. today. We currently have 6 submissions, one of which is local. The other 5 are national. Interviews will take place the week of June 12th to 16th, and we will notify the awardee by June 20th or on June 20th. That is moving forward. Installation of Big Red is still being coordinated with Alder Cartage and the Streets Department. We're gonna have to close off Sycamore Train to get that installed, but I'll let you know as soon as that date is confirmed. I'm hoping to hear back from them today. And we have contracted with photographer Kendra Kremen, who is a lecturer in photography at WSU, who will begin photographing the public art collection. And she was planning on starting this past weekend if the weather was optimal. Yesterday might have been okay. Yesterday morning, so I hope she did. I haven't talked to her yet. But as, of course, we anticipate that upon completion in August, we will be able to showcase the collection on our new landing page at publicartarchive.org, which will make the collection accessible to everyone. We're excited about that. And then following the recent vandalism at Ailey Pool last week, I inspected the artwork at the pool and found 4 bronze snails had been removed from their mounting, both on the sitting wall and one of the landscape rocks. And additionally, there was damage on the mosasaur wall relief on the pool house, in which they had pried off one of the skeletal components in the middle and absconded. So I will go ahead and get estimates from the artist on repair replacement. I'll decide how to proceed from there. And then last week, was it last week? Lost track of time. 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks.
Weeks ago, we were notified that we received the NEA grant, which I emailed all of you to let you know that. So we have a $75,000 award. The funding time period is July 1st of this year through June 30th of 2025. We are working with our community partner Harvester Arts, and the outcome of this, all of this grant activity will be a public artist toolkit. So we will keep you informed. I hope all of you can participate in some way in the activities that take place during this grant. Yeah, and we'll keep you updated. And then a quick update on Chester I. Lewis Park. Ella has been hard at work on all of the paintings and imagery for the echoes. The glass company that is producing those glass encased images for the echoes is receiving a new machine to do this, which is arriving in July. And so our project is the first on their list. It will be sent late July, all of the images, and it's about a 6-week turnaround. The red line map will be installed mid to late August. And so we anticipate that the Echo Glass will be installed early to late September during that month. And that will complete Chester I. Lewis Park. That's the timeline we're looking at now.
Thank you.
The only other one that I have is that we have not heard yet from the Bloomberg grant. It's $1 million public art grant. We are anxiously awaiting. We're supposed to announce early spring, it's now June. But no news is good news because they would have told us no probably already if we were out of the running. So we're still anxiously awaiting that.
And earmarked?
Not necessarily. It's an additional project with Harvester Arts for kind of the expansion of the public art toolkit.
Good.
But we do have kind of a, depending on the scope of what we get, if we get the full amount or half amount, we can flex that funding, but it would be for activation of public art along sort of what it's earmarked for. Nothing has been confirmed, and that project will not go forward if we don't. I mean, since we applied for it.
Questions? Comment? Ready?
Sorry, if I can have one more, just as an update. I need to be that one more person. Subcommittee work is underway. Thank you for those of you that are already serving on. The CIP one will meet again this month and hopefully meet again this month to have allocations from the CIP subcommittee hit next month's design council meeting. Accurate to, this is an FYI for them.
No, is that going to be July 3rd or is that going to be?
Well, that's a good question.
It's the 10th.
We pushed it back a
We
week.
pushed it back. Should have all received meeting invites for that.
So the July 10th meeting, hopefully we'll have a CIP allocations to be approved by the design council, well then city council. That's the moving target goal.
That's it? Oh, you still made it under. We still made it before 10:30, so nice job. I don't know that, since we don't have a quorum, I'll just say we're gonna adjourn the meeting.